I apologize that Rose could not join us this evening. However, we are definitely here with the lovely trans physical medium, Michael Shane. Hello, Michael. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I am super wonderful as always. Very, very well. So lucky for us, Michael Shane will be joining us in Ontario, Canada, February 11th and the 12th at the Four Points by Sheraton on Argentia Drive in Mississauga, Ontario. I don't know about you, Michael, but I'm very excited. Are you very excited?
Yeah, I'm actually not I'm not a patient person, so I can't wait.
Well, we'll have you here soon enough, and then it'll be rolling from there. I know we don't have much time, but I'd like to ask you a question there, Michael, if we can, please.
Yes.
And we can tell our audience what started mediumship in the modern day spiritualism in USA?
Well, the history goes back to 1848 when the Fox sisters heard knockings on the wall of the home that they lived in, and they established a communication where there would be one knock for yes, two knocks for no, three knocks for maybe or they don't know, and then multitude of knocks was either they were laughing or don't ask that question. And that went on for quite a while. And they later on proved that there was actually a body behind the wall, a brick wall, in the basement of the home, where they found, this was after they had moved away. So anyway, from there, a lot of spiritualism, or mediums, I should say, started to surface, come out of the woodwork, I guess is what you'd say. And one of the major ones in the latter part of the 1800s was Madame Helena Blavatsky, who had a scientist by the name of Sir William Crookes, who thought she was a fraud and went to go prove that and found that she wasn't. And from that, the Theosophical Society was created. And I recommend that those out there that are really interested in this read The Secret Doctrine from that society. Then there's a famous medium by the name of D.D. Home, who in the beginning of the 20th century, I believe it was in New York, he levitated out of a window, a 20-story building, down out the window and then lowered down into the second window below and back in. So there's a drawing of him doing that in a book that was written about him. You move on to Marjorie Crandon, who was the only medium to ever pass Harry Houdini's tests. You have Mary Baker Eddy, who started the Church of Spiritual Science. You could go into Arthur Ford, who was the gentleman who solved the Houdini Code. And then you have Reverend Keith Milton Reinhardt, who was one of the first modern day mediums, physical mediums, who brought forth this idea of apportation, which is what I do in some of my work. And it goes on from there. There's even a few mental mediums today that are pretty popular and famous and very good at what they do, and being John Edwards and James von Praagh. There's a very good medium over in Germany by the name of Kai Muge, and Gary Mannion in England. All wonderful stuff for the purpose of bringing forth knowledge, information, and also closure for loved ones.
You said something and said they went ahead and proved them wrong. How back then, so many years ago, would you say, how could they prove that without being stoned or punched in some way or form?
Well, in the case of the Fox sisters, there was two incidents where the sheriff was suspicious of all this stuff that was coming true, and they dug in a hole in the basement, thinking they were going to find a body. They never did. So there was this thought that they were a fraud. And then later, down the road, the youngest sister told a group of people that the whole thing was an act, that the noises and the knocking came from the cracking of her toes. And but then later on in the memoirs, the reason why she said that was because her older sister, who wasn't clairvoyant or a medium, who tried to take control of her two younger sisters, wanted to get out of her rule, because she was being very mean and controlling to them and stealing their money. But then, like 40 years after they moved out of that house, they actually found a body in the basement, but behind a brick wall, not in the ground. And next to the body, or the bones, I should say, was one of what they would call a vagabond trunk, which is now sitting at the Lilydale Museum in Cassadaga, New York. In regards to Madame Blavatsky, the scientist by the name of Sir William Crookes had some sort of way, through evidence of information, similar to Brian Weiss, who wrote Many Lives, Many Masters, in regards to past life regression. He got a communication from his client that that there was proof of his dad's existence beyond the grave, by giving information that only him and Brian Weiss knew. And so that was pretty good. And he wrote that book over the whole thing. Similar to Sir William Crookes, there was information that was given to him that he could not sway away or explain away. So he started believing in her work and did some studies along with Charles Roche, who coined the phrase ectoplasm. And apparently, Dan Aykroyd's father and mother were really into spiritualism, who I got to meet once at one of my events. In fact, his father wrote the book that the movie Ghostbusters was created from. So it's all about evidence. It's the phenomena isn't really mediumship. It's phenomena. Mediumship is basically defined as proof and evidence of life after death. And some claim, well, that's only done with loved ones, when the reality
Correct.
is any spirit. I mean, Jesus is a spirit, and I get criticized sometimes for claiming that the ascended masters are coming through, but they're loved ones too. I mean, how many people do we know that loves Jesus? I do. I believe he had a life a few thousand years ago, and we're still talking about it today. So if he wasn't real, what are we talking about, right?
Absolutely. So how would you answer this? In the early times, mediums, psychics, or anything towards spiritual would consider to be witchcraft. How would you answer that?
Well, it's how I would answer it is a little controversial. You put these poor ladies and men on the stake and burn them alive because they helped somebody. But if you're helping somebody, oh my God, that must mean you're working with the devil. I mean, it's just a hypocrisy, that someone helps someone from pain or something to go with their livestock, or help them with a sickness. Oh God, they got better. Oh, they must be in league with the devil. Truthfully, I've never seen a devil. I don't believe that there's a devil. I believe the heaven and hell is what we create here on earth. In our own specific lives.
So would you say somehow, because you're saying that it's a hypocrisy, would you say that this would have been used more so for a monetary purpose to say that it's demonic. So,
Well, money doesn't have anything to do with, in the reality of it all, good or bad. It's just what you do with it and how you acquire it defines whether it's good or bad. For instance, I do not charge for anything that I do. What I charge is for the time that I am giving to do what I do. You see? And there has been a lot of fraudulent mediums in the past
yes.
that did it for the purpose of bringing money because it was easy to acquire money by manipulating someone's grief. I don't do that. In fact, I don't usually even work with loved ones because it's too emotional for me.
I understood. Thank you, Michael. I apologize. We only have about 30 seconds left, so I'd like to share with you. The tickets are going to be going on sale as of Monday as a result of the location being changed. Please feel free to visit www.heavenonearthhealingcenter.com, and you'll see a link down below to your right. Purchase tickets for Michael Shane. We will be located at the 4 Points by Sheridan at 2501 Argentia Road in Mississauga, Ontario. So the event will be 11th and the 12th, once again from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Thank you. Forgive me. Thank you so much for tuning in.